guys something. How do you know when you are academically growing as a student? What does that look like?
When you start to realize that your grades are going up more.
All right, so when you notice that your grades are going up more, what does that look like for you, Elijah?
When your lifestyle's going up.
When your lexile is going up. That's fancy. What's a lexile?
Like your reading level or your math level.
Your reading level or your math level. What about for you, baby?
When you grow and start.
When you grow and start. How many of you know your current lexile right now? Anybody? How many of you have, you do? How many of you have an idea?
I know exactly.
How many of you have had a data talk before? Like your teacher has talked to you about your actual scores. All right? So Victor, tell me something about what you know about your scores. Don't give us your score, but tell us what you think a data talk is.
I think a data talk is basically when you go over, what your lexile score was before you may have took a test to increase it or like and see if it increased or decreased.
All right, so you think it's to talk about letting you know where you are and to see if your score has decreased or increased. All right, what else? Anybody else have a data talk? What do you think it is?
A data talk.
Take a shot.
Where they tell you about what's going on with your academics.
Why is it important for you guys to know that information? Look at our essential question. Why is it important for students to set and track their own learning goals? Why do you think you need to know that information? Somebody other than Victor, be prepared because I might call on you. Let's go, Mikhail.
Because it helps you decide what to do in your future.
It tells you what to do with your future. It can show you what to do with your future. What do you think she means by that? Go, Justin.
Just like to have a balanced schedule.
A balanced schedule. What else? Go.
It helps you set goals for the future.
It helps you say it again. Set what?
Goals for the future.
Set goals for the future. So, Brianna gave everybody a Cornell note sheet, right? You all should have this. Do you all have this?
Yes.
Go ahead and take a moment and glue it on page 29 of your interactive notebook. Go ahead and glue it on there. Because this is a great transition. We're talking about data, but before we can set goals, we need to know our data, right? So I want to talk to you guys about SMART goals, and then after I teach you about SMART goals, what do you think I'm going to give you?
Smart.
Your what? I'm not going to give you your SMART goals. We're going to talk about them. What am I going to give you?
Lexile.
You say it again?
Lexile.
Your Lexile levels. What other information do you think I'm going to give you? What other information do you think I'm going to give you? Your data. And when you have this data, what are you going to be able to set? There it is. All right? So, everybody, glue it in on page 29. Glue it quickly so we can go ahead and talk about notes. I want to introduce you guys to a strategy. How many of you have had teachers who put notes on the board and you have to copy all of it? All right? What did I already promise you? Our notes will never be longer than what?
1 page.
1 page. I'm going to show you how. Yes, baby.
You know, do you have stories like essays? So, how long are they?
We'll talk about that when we get to that. All right. Excuse me? Yes, right there. The mechanical one's right there. All right, so you guys, I'm going to introduce you to a strategy today, okay? The strategy is, what's on that paper? What kind of notes are those? Cornell notes. Listen. When you guys take notes, how many of you try to write down every single thing that the teacher puts up there? I don't want you to do that. I want you to learn how to take effective notes. So we're going to do Cornell notes because it helps you pull out the gist or the meat of the notes, and it helps you to set clear and concise notes because you are summarizing. Understand? And when you summarize, is it necessary to write everything down?
No.
Not only that, studies show that when you write down information, you have an 80% chance of retaining it. Okay? All right. So, we already talked about how you know when you're academically growing as a student, right? We're going to talk about SMART goals. What's a goal? What's a goal? Go, Eliana.
Something like that you would like to achieve in the future.
Something that you would like to achieve in the future. What's a goal, Brianna?
Something you strive to achieve.
Something that you try or strive to achieve. What's a goal, Jason?
Like an example of that?
Yeah, give me what you need.
By the end of the year, you could try to have a 1,300.
All right, so you said by the end of the year, you could try to have a 1,300 for a Lex out. Is that a goal?
Yes.
All right, is it a SMART goal or do we know yet?
We don't know.
We don't know yet because SMART is an acronym, okay? It stands for something. Go, baby.
I think the goal is something that you set to strive for so that in the future, you know, that you can have it, and once you say that you did it, you can keep on going until you know you reach an ultimate goal.
All right, so what I want you to do, you see your notes, right? And I did it too. I did it last night to model the process for you. What is the topic that we are discussing? Look in your Cornell notes. What is the topic that we are discussing? What's on the board? What kind of goals?
SMART goals.
SMART goals. So what do you think should go down in that topic? Go ahead and put it down there. What kind of goals are they again, guys? SMART goals. All right. And then notice it says name, class period, and date. Go ahead and fill that information in, even though it's already in your interactive notebook. This is second period, baby. Now listen, I will not always give you this handout, but do you understand that this is always how you will take notes in my class, right? So do you need this handout to be able to take the notes?
Yes.
No, you can still set up your book. You can set up your page. Look at the board. Did I have a handout?
No.
But I still set up my page so that I made it on my notebook, right? All right. But going forward, whenever I give you notes, this is how I want you to take notes. The essential question is, why is it important for students to create learning goals to track their academic success? That is what we are working with. Why is it important for students to set and track their own learning goals? Should I be the one creating a learning goal for you?
No.
No, how come?
Because we need to do it ourselves so it'll be realistic.
Say it again.
We need to do it ourselves so it'll be realistic.
Victor said you need to do it yourself so it can be realistic. Is that accurate? All right. Not only that, when you set your own goals, who takes the accountability? You guys do. Okay? Now, here's a life lesson. If you have a goal that you don't work towards and you don't accomplish it, you didn't have a goal, you had a what?
An ambition.
You had an ambition, you had a wish. Right? But you can't wish for it. What do you have to do?
You have to work for it.
You have to work for it. You have to make it happen. So let's go ahead and talk about our SMART goals. The first step in our SMART goal process is the S. Look at that. So what do you need to put over on the question side?
An
An S. Or you could put the question, what is S? And what do you need to put over on the note side? Stands for what? Specific. And when in doubt, guess what? If you look over at the board, I already set it up for you. Look at the board where it says, right up underneath Mrs. Teeler. What do I have over there? The SMART goals. So the S stands for specific. When you write down your goal, were you specific in what that goal was? Okay? So then, let's talk about it. A specific goal. I want to do better in history. Is that specific?
Yes.
No,
No.
Why is, some of you say yeah, some of you say no.
it's not specific because you're not saying what you want to strive for.
You're not saying what you want to strive for. You guys agree?
Yes.
All right, so how many of you think it's actually specific? You think it's a good goal. So Brianna, you think it's a good goal. You think I want to do better in history is a good goal. I feel like that goal is kind of broad because did you know where you started from the beginning? And were you specific about what you want to, which aspect of history you want to do better in? So then a better goal, a specific goal is I want to increase my history grade from an 85% to a 90%. That's what I mean by specific, okay? So if I say I want to lose weight, is that a specific goal?
No.
How could I make that specific?
By seeing where you start and then striving for a specific amount and keep taking it step by step.
All right, take my I want to lose weight and make it specific. Listen, tread lightly now. Tread lightly. But go ahead. Make it specific.
I want to lose weight.
That's still not specific. Somebody make it specific. Go.
I want to lose like 10 pounds.
I want to lose 10 pounds. Is that specific?
Yes.
Make it specific.
I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months.
I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. All right. Is Is that being specific? All right. But what am I missing? My what? How will I know if I lost 10 pounds? I'm missing something.
You gotta track it. You gotta keep
I
track.
got to track it. So then take that and make it specific. Go.
I want to lose 30 pounds in the next 3 months.
All right. That's kind of specific, but what if I say I want to go from 190 pounds to 180 pounds by, because now am I being real specific? At first I said I wanted to lose 10 pounds, but did we know where we started? Okay, that brings us into our next part. M. M stands for measurable. How are you going to know, or how will you be able to evaluate that goal? Remember what Brianna said, I want to do better in history. She said that was specific, right? But was it measurable? So how did we take it and how did we make it measurable? How were we able to measure if we did better in history? By attaching what to it? Go. We attach numbers to it. Measurable means how are you going to track it? How will you know that you've achieved it? So let's look at our example. I want to run a mile better. Can you measure that?
Not really.
So how can you take it and measure it? How can you make that a measurable goal? Yes, baby.
By having a timer.
All right, so take it and make it measurable.
I want to get a better time on the mile run by using the timer at the time I swear.
Measurable. We got to have numbers. Go.
I want, when I run the mile, I want to go from 6 minutes to 5 minutes.
All right, is that measurable?
Yes.
So when you guys, do you understand what I'm doing with these goals? For each goal, you're adding a layer. Because when you set these goals and you're specific and you're measurable, are you able to see results?
Yes.
All right, so then I want to improve my mile time by 30 seconds. Is that something you can measure? But if we just left it at, I want to run a faster mile, can you measure that if you don't put numbers to it? All right, that's how we're tracking our growth. Now listen, as you guys are taking these notes, are any of you writing examples by it?
No.
You should. You have to have an example, right? You should. Because remember, not to pick on my baby Brianna, but she opened it by saying, I want to do better in history was good, right? But now are you seeing how we can evolve and elevate that goal? So how will we change that? Based off of what we know for specific and measurable in our SMART process.
You're talking about history, right?
Whatever goal you have.
I want to get an 85 or higher in math by the end of the year.
I want to get an 85 or higher in math by the end of the year. Did she give us something measurable?
Yeah.
All right. Because what grade did she say? 85 or what?
Higher.
Higher. Okay? All right. Can I move?
Yes.
All right. My next one. A. Attainable. It needs to be something that you can actually do. Some of you set unrealistic goals. If you cannot attain it, if you cannot actually do it, did you have a goal or did you have a wish? A wish. So let me give you an example of attainable. Which one would be a better goal for me, Mrs. Teeler? Will it be, I will help my daughter pass her math milestones? Or would it be, I will help my daughter pass her ELA milestones? Which one is attainable for me?
Help your daughter pass her ELA milestone?
Her ELA. Why is that realistic and attainable for me? Yes. I'm an ELA teacher. Y'all know I suck at math. So if I had to help her with math, she would be on a struggle bus, right?
Yes.
So then your goal, is it something that you are actually capable of reaching? Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you able to attain that goal? So let's see. Imani, give me a goal.
I want to have high 90 by the end of the year.
Say it louder.
I want to have a high 90 by the end of the year.
She wants to have a 90 in ELA by the end of the year. Is that something that's attainable for her?
Yes.
We have to find out. Do you struggle with English? You struggle with English, right? What was your last grade, if you don't mind, in English? What did you finish with in 7th grade?
81.
An 81, right? So then she wants to go from an 81 from 7th grade to a 90. Is that attainable for her?
Yes.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. What if she was reading, we're just gonna assume, what if she was reading on a 3rd grade level, sitting in an 11th grade class? Would that be an attainable goal?
No.
How will we turn it and make it attainable so that she would actually be able to do it? Yes.
Like decreasing it and saying to getting to like maybe a 5th grade level, that so on and so forth.
A 5th grade level, or what if we had to turn that into a grade equivalent? Would a C still be considered great for a student who was reading at a 3rd grade level in an 11th grade classroom?
Yes.
Yes, and that's what I mean. When you guys set your goals, make it something that you are capable of reaching. I know that I'm not good in math. So should I have a SMART goal that says I want to achieve a 90 or higher on math? No, that is not my strength. I am strong in ELA, which means I'm not that strong in math and science. Okay? Let's go to the next one. R stands for, is your goal relevant? Attainable means can you actually do it? Relevant means, is it even important to you in your lifestyle? Right now you guys have academic goals, right? Why? Because those goals are important to your what?
School.
It's important to school because you are all what?
At school.
You're all students. You're all where?
At school.
At school.
It's in big.
So then listen, which would be a better goal for me? For me, relevant to me. Would a good goal be, my goal is to discover a cure for cancer? Why is that not relevant to me? I'm not good at science. Who would that be a relevant goal for? A doctor or a what? A scientist. All right. What about if I say my goal is to inspire at least one student to become a doctor to research a cure for cancer? Is that a relevant goal for me?
Yes.
Do you understand the difference? So when you guys create your goals, is that goal relevant? Do you understand? Okay? Make sure you're writing down these notes. Now understand, when you do these notes, do you realize how your notes are shorter now that you're using the Cornell Notes format? How many of you before would have tried to write every single thing on there? Do you like this process better? Because it ensures, one, are you still learning the information? Two, are you learning how to summarize the information? Okay? And three, does your hand hurt? No, because you know that right now we went through the S, the M, the A, the R. What's our last thing? T. The T. And then after that, what are we doing? We're going to summarize it. We're gonna crank this thing out. And then I'm going to give you your data, because if you look, everybody come look back here. If you are in the red, and this is my 2nd period class, I never put the student numbers. I just put how many fell in each category. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you are in the red, what does that mean? What is our goal to get to the where? We need to make it attainable. Is it attainable to go from red to blue? No. What is attainable? To go to red from what?
Yellow.
To yellow. Or red to what?
Green.
Green. So y'all are being real ambitious, right? So that means we're about to go hard in the paint and work for ELA, correct?
Yes.
But here's realistic for me. Realistic is if you're in the red, it is our goal to move where? To yellow. I have 19 students in the yellow. What that means we need to go where?
Green.
To the green. Okay? That means we need to make it to the green, correct?
Yes.
I have 7 students in the green. Where do we need to make it?
To the blue.
To the blue. Okay? Now, if we want to turn this into a grade, because in high school it'll be turned into a grade. If we turn this into a grade, what do you think this is?
Failing.
What do you think this is?
C.
What do you think this is?
D.
What do you think this is?
A.
My babies. All right, let's go ahead and get this T, and then I'm going to give you guys your data. Okay? T is time bound. If you set a goal and you don't put a time on it, what have you done to that goal? You turned it into a what? What's that W? Say it again, baby. You turned it into a wish. Some of you have these long goals. For instance, what if I say I want to lose 10 pounds? Period.
When will you do it?
Say it, baby.
When
when will I lose these 10 pounds? Did you put a time stamp on each of your goals? Why do you need it to have a time stamp? Why do you need a time attached to your goal?
So it can be,
Go, baby.
so it can be attainable.
So it can be attainable. Go, baby.
So you don't lose your interest?
So you don't lose your interest in having a time so it keeps you what?
Focus.
It keeps you focused and it keeps you accountable. Are we correct? All right. So if my goal is to be able to run a half marathon, why is that an ongoing goal?
Because when are you gonna do it?
When are you going to do it? So if my goal is to run a half marathon by May of 2009, that's a pass. But if that was my goal, now do I have something to work towards? All right, and we can even make it back. Well, you said May of 2009, right? So now that's a goal because I have until when to get that thing done? 2009. Now I have run a half marathon, and it was before then.
Was it hard?
13.1 miles. It was a little challenging.
13
I was way lighter. I wasn't as fluffy. It was
13
definitely
miles.
challenging. All right.
You wanna run 13 miles?
So listen, I want you to look over your notes. Look over them. How many of you feel like you've been writing SMART goals? How many of you feel like now you know how to revamp and write SMART goals? Because we got to go through the process, okay? So what I want you to do in your Cornell notes, I want you to wrap this thing up. How would you summarize what I've taught you today? And put it in your notes. Because that's how you make sure you understand what the teacher taught. Did we take up all the page? Is this a better style of note taking? So what strategy did I teach y'all? That's the skill I taught you guys, but what strategy are we using? Cornell notes, okay? But what is our learning target for today? To be able to write what? SMART goals. So what's the one piece that you're missing to be able to write your SMART goal? The what? The summary. No. That's for your Cornell note. What haven't I given you yet so we can start? The data. Because remember, I started this because what are we working towards? Learning our what? Our data. We're going to look at our data. You said data?
Yes.
Did you say it loud?
Yes.
I didn't hear that. Is he loud?
No.
He's like, yes, I said it. All right, you guys, go ahead and summarize that thing real quick. Write a quick summary.
So we're writing a summary about what a SMART goal is.
You're writing a summary about what a SMART goal is. And what is this strategy called again? What are we doing? Cornell notes. Going forward, whenever I introduce you guys to something, what kind of notes do we need to write?
Cornell notes.
There it is, babies. There it is. What kind of notes? All right. Why do we do Cornell notes?
Because they're faster.
They're faster, but what else?